Today with Sensei Scuba, we're going to discuss how to put together your regulator set. From out of the box to the complete set, ready to dive. First things that we're going to do, once we get everything out of the box and ready to go, is decide which of the low pressure and high pressure ports we're gonna open up so that we can put all of our gear into it. Okay, the first stage we're using today is the Hog D3 DIN first stage. It has 4 low pressure ports on the outside wall of the swivel turret and 1 on the bottom of the swivel turret as well. And it also has 2 high pressure ports, 1 on both the right and the left sides. The high pressure ports are labeled high pressure, so it makes it pretty hard to confuse which ones are which. So for your regulators, they will go in the low pressure ports. Your low pressure inflator hose also goes in the low pressure ports. The high pressure port is where you'll put things like your gauge console, or in this case today, I'm going to be installing my computer transmitter. Okay. So to get the ports out that we're going to need, I'll show you a close-up of the turret here in a little bit, but we're going to use the 2 on the right side for our regulators. So we'll go ahead and remove those using the hex key. And it works out, it just worked out well this time, I guess, out of the box, that the low pressure inflator hose port I needed on the left side is already open. So I only have to remove 2 low pressure port plugs. When you get these out, don't throw them away. Even though you're going to plug that hole with a hose, you may reconfigure later on, and you'll need these to plug up the hoses that you take out. Okay, so now I have 3 low pressure inflator ports open, and I'm also going to open 1 high pressure port. For me, it'll be the one on my left. I wear my computer on my left side, and I also put my transmitter out the left side as well. So just like the low pressure ports, just stick your hex key in there and twist it out. Okay, once you get that one out, also keep it for later use. Here's the close-up view I was talking about. This is the front side of the regulator, and that's the back. This is, of course, a DIN setup. But like I said, if you look down here at the turret, you have a little bit wider of a space here, and then as you spin the turret to get to the 2 low pressure ports on each side, you can see here there's much less of a gap. So my technique is to spin that so that the bigger gap is going to be facing your head once you put this on. An easy way to do it with the Edge Hog Regs is if you have this gap right where the Hog logo is on the first stage, it's in the right spot. Okay? So, one other thing while we're here, if you're worried about which ports are which and you don't want to get them confused, it's very hard to confuse them. As you see, this port is open. So we'll go ahead and take this high pressure port here off as well, and then we'll show the difference. Alright, now that we have both the high pressure port open and a low pressure port open, you can really see the difference in the size of those holes. The high pressure port is a much bigger hole than the low pressure port. And if you can't see it well there, if you look at the plugs that we took out of there, those you can really tell the difference in. So what that's doing is making it very easy not to put the wrong hose in the wrong port, because they're both different sizes. Now I've got 3 low pressures open and my high pressure open. Now I can put my regulators together and then get them onto the first stage. So the first one we're going to do is the standard one out of the box. These are brand new regs from Hog. They're the Zenith Black. This one you'll notice is different than this one. However, I purchased the yellow cover so you can figure out which one the alternate air source will be. That was a very easy installation, took about 2 minutes. Maybe we'll do a video about that in a little while. They also make multiple different colors, green, pink, I believe white, but this is the standard one. It comes in black or smoke. The smoke color would be the ring around the actual purge itself. Okay, so for to put the regulator together, we're going to do the primary first. We'll take the hose for the primary, and you're just going to hand tighten it into the regulator. Okay, screw that in. Once you get it screwed in, hand tight, you will snug it up with your wrenches. You don't want to tighten things too tight when you're dealing with scuba gear. These things are made out of brass, which is fairly soft, and you can over tighten these things fairly easily. So I'm going to use my scuba tool, multi-tool here, and the wrench to just snug up the second stage onto the hose. Okay, that's all it takes. Once you get the regulator onto the hose, you'll take your Crystal Lube, and you want to add a little bit to the O-ring area, and then using your finger you can rub that in a little bit all the way around the O-ring. Make sure the O-ring all has a little bit of Crystal Lube. Now for mine, the two low pressure ports I opened on the right hand side of the regulator, I'm going to put this in the front port of that one. So this one will be closest to my head once I'm wearing this regulator. Again, screw it in hand tight, take the wrench and just snug it down, not super tight. There we go. Alright, next thing we're going to do is the alternate air source, and it goes together identically as the primary. So again, you'll just screw it into, hand tighten it, screw it into place. Get your wrenches and snug it down. Okay, again, beat a little bit of Crystal Lube around the O-ring. If you let the first stage dangle on the hose like this technique, and you manipulate your low pressure port the correct way, it should screw in fairly easily. It's a lot easier this way than other ways that you can try and put them together. And you're dealing with the long hoses, and a lot of times they just get in the way of themselves. Once you get it screwed in there, again, take your wrench and just snug it down. Okay, that's both the regulators installed already. Now we're going to take the low pressure inflator hose for your BCD. Bead of Crystal Lube again. All the way around the O-ring. The last open low pressure low pressure port. This is going to screw in there. Take your wrench, snug it down. Last thing we're going to do now is the computer transmitter. Same as before with the other O-rings, a little bit of Crystal Lube. Work it around the O-ring and place it into the high pressure port that you opened and screw it down. Once this thing stops turning, you don't want to put any excess pressure on with your hand. As soon as it stops turning, stop turning it with your hand. Grab your thin wrench, or in this case my diver's multi-tool, put it on there and snug it down. And there you go. In just about a little over 5 minutes or so, we've got the complete regulator set. Both regulators, your low pressure inflator hose, and your computer transmitter installed. Ready to go diving.